3.9 notes, writing equations. This will be the first section of writing equations that we do. When trying to write the equation of a line, you have to see what you have to work with. Do you have the slope, which is our m? Do you have the intercepts where it crosses the axis? Or do you have random points? Knowing and recognizing this will help you to determine what form to use. These are the equation forms that we have to use. Lost my mouse. This is the point slope form. Okay, and what it is basically is this and this right here are actually a random point on the line. That's what those are. And then M, of course, is always our slope. Okay? Then we come down here and we have slope-intercept form. Which has a slope and the intercept, which is the y-intercept. Okay? We've been working with that one a lot lately. So then we're going to scroll down here and we're going to talk about, to write the equation of a line, what type of line would we use, or what form would we use if we were given a point and a slope. A point and a slope. It literally names it right there. We would use point slope form. And you do not have to memorize this. You will have access to these notes. This is on the formula chart if you are a retester. Okay, but I just like to write them down so we start to get kind of used to seeing them a little bit. The next one says, what equation form would you use if you were given a slope and a y-intercept? Slope and intercept. You would use the slope-intercept, and we all know that one. We've got that one down. That is y equals mx plus b. B is our y-intercept, m is our slope. The next one states, what equation form would you use if you were given two coordinate points? Points. Okay? So what we would need to use here is the point slope form, but we would need to find the slope first from the 2 points, okay? So we would use these 2 points right here to find the slope. And to do that, we use a little t-chart, if you recall. We've done that several times. And so we would have to find the slope and plug it in. Or there is one other thing that we could use, which you guys are a little bit more familiar with, is we could do the regression steps in the calculator. And that's where y'all do the stat, and you enter them in the list, which we're going to talk about at a little bit later date. And then the last one we have right here is the, what equation form would you use if you were given the graph of a line? If you're given the graph of the line, most of us, and what we're going to be using most commonly today, is the slope-intercept form. But we have to be able to see a very clear y-intercept. Sorry. As long as we see a clear y-intercept. If the y-intercept is not an exact across at a point or an exact whole number, then we probably could not draw the equation from here, write the equation from here. So now let's scroll down and we're going to do an example of each one. So the first one, example number 1, asks you to identify. So I've given you 3 steps over here. They're the same for all of them. And step 1 says, what have you been given? So you're going to determine over here what exactly that we have been given on this equation. So I'm going to look over here and I'm going to see that I see 2 points. Okay. The clear thing, and the thing I always look for first, is we see the y-intercept, right? And we can easily find the slope, right? We can find the slope by counting the y over x. And I guess I should probably state the obvious. We've been given a graph, okay? So then we're going to decide what form that we need to use. Well, my favorite form and the easiest form to use is definitely going to be slope intercept. We're definitely going to want to use slope intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. And the two pieces of information that we are going to need to get from this, I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to come up here and rewrite it, is y equals mx plus b, as we need to find the b and we need to find the m. And as I told y'all, it's always easier to find that b value first, okay? So my b value is clearly a positive 5. It's where it crosses the y-axis. So that's going to be a positive 5. Now I need to find my m value. What is my m value? So it luckily has marked 2 points for me. There's one here and there's one here. So I'm just simply going to count my slope. So from here I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I go over 1. So if I go down 5, that is actually a negative. So that would be y equals negative 5x plus 5. And that is actually the equation of the line. So the two pieces of information we found were the m, which was down 5 over 1, and we found the b, which is what we need for all of these equations. It's actually what we need for all of these equations, okay? They might just be given to us in a different form first. So now let's scroll down and let's do example number 2. All right, so on the first thing, determine what you have been given. So the first thing I see right here is a point. Okay, and we actually graphed these not too long ago on the Harry Potter graphing. So now I'm going to come over here and I've been given a slope. Slope is represented by the letter M too. So I definitely have my M. So I have a point and I have a slope, correct? So I have a point and I have a slope. So what form could we use? The point slope form, okay? And I do ask that when you guys are going to use the point slope form that you actually write it down and fill it in underneath it, okay? So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to label my point, okay? A point is x, comma, y. So this is my x of 1 and my y sub 1. All the 1 means is a name of that point, okay? So now I'm going to go and I'm going to go on ahead and fill it in and start solving it. So what I've been given is y minus, that's the formula, my y sub 1 up here, which is 5, equals m. My m is negative 2/3 times x minus the x of 1 in the point up here, which is 3. All right. Now, in order to simplify this, I'm going to have to do something first. What does PEMDAS always tell me to do first? Parentheses. So I'm going to have to leave this y minus 5 for a second, and I'm going to have to distribute that fraction. Negative 2/3 times x is negative 2/3 x. Then I'm going to distribute the negative 2/3 times the negative 3, and that's going to give me a positive 2. And you can do that in the calculator. The steps you would do in the calculator are you would plug in negative 2 divided by 3 times negative 3, and it would give you the answer. So then we are going to get that y by itself, because now we can focus on it. If I want this y by itself, what do I need to get rid of? I need to get rid of the minus 5. How do I get rid of the minus 5? I add 5. And you got to think about, are you going to line it up underneath the negative 2/3 x or the 2? Who does it have the same last name as? The 2. So my equation is going to be y equals negative 2/3 x plus 7. And we could from here pull out the m and the b if we had to graph it. A lot of work going in there, guys. This is a review of a concept that we haven't used a whole bunch. So I'm hoping that you guys can remember this and get it practiced, but we have put this into y equals a whole bunch on a bunch of different assignments. 2 more examples. The next one is example 3. Example 3 does happen to be the hardest one. I'm not going to lie. This is the one that's a little bit more involved. So let's look at what we have here. Write the equation in slope-intercept form of a line that goes through the points. So we have 2 points. We have a x, y, x, y. So all I've been given is 2 points, and neither of them are the y-intercept, unfortunately. So on this one, we're going to have to use point slope form. Or if you remember, you can use the regression steps in the calculator, which is the stat inner, okay? We will learn about that just a little bit later. So the first thing I need to do is I've been given 2 points, and I have to find what the slope is between those 2 points. We have done multiple days of practice of this. So with those 2 points, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to set up a t-chart, and I'm going to plug them in. They go in horizontally. 2, -6, -3, 4. And we're going to set up and do this slope. I'm going to do the y first because if you recall with slope, y is on top. Okay, so how do I get from -6 to 4? I actually go up 10. And how do I get from 2 to -3? I go down 5. So 10 divided by -5 gives me a -2, and that is my slope, which is the letter M in the formula. So I'm going to come over here. I am going to write down the formula and start to fill it in. Y minus y1 equals M times x minus x1. Sorry, I got to say it when I'm filling it in. So I'm going to go fill it in, but I need to pick one of these points to use. It does not matter which one of these points you use. I tend to look for the ones that have all positives, but unfortunately neither of these do. So I'm going to choose the 2 and the 6 because they're just the first one. So I just tend to choose the first one when it's like that. And let's go fill it in. Y minus the y1 in this problem is -6 equals M, and our M value is over here. It is -2 times x minus, and that minus is from the formula, 2. Okay. So now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go ahead and solve this. These double negatives become a positive, and I have to distribute that -2. -2 times x is -2x. -2 times -2 is +4. If I want to get that y by itself, I am going to have to subtract 6, which lines up with the 4. They have the same last name. And my equation is -2x minus 2. Lots of math going on there, guys. Lots of math. Okay? The last one is the easiest, and the last one we have been practicing so much, and we've been practicing all these concepts so much. It's time to do the meat and potatoes. It's time to eat the dinner. We've learned the meat, we've gotten the meat, we've cooked the potatoes. It's time to put it together. I know y'all hear me say that a lot about meat and potatoes. This is the easiest one to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and determine what I've been given. Write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form that has a slope is M, of -8/3. Okay, so I've been given a slope. And a y-intercept of 6. So I've been given a slope and a y-intercept. A slope and a intercept. We are going to use the slope-intercept form, okay, which is our y equals mx plus b, which we are most familiar with. So what I like to do is like to come over here and I like to label it since I'm having to fill in. Basically, that's all you guys are having to do is fill in the M and fill in the B. And we've already done it. It's already been given to us. We have practiced this. So we've got this, guys. Y equals, my M value is -8/3. Plus B, my B is 6. That's a +6. And that is your answer. That's all you do for that problem. Now, to go to work on the assignment.